Hello, sunshine. We're so glad that you are with us on today's show. We get the opportunity and privilege to interview a very special guest. Not only is he a wonderful singer-songwriter, has a beautiful voice, but this guy has a heart for things that really matter. So I'm really excited for today's show. Whoever you are, wherever you are, welcome. I'm Tamra, and this is QualityTam. QualityTam. Matt Hammitt. Hello. Welcome.
What's up?
Did I say your name
It's
right?
good to be here.
Did I say it right? Hammitt?
You said it perfectly right.
Spelled?
You know, back in the day, before my grandfather changed it, it was Hammitt. So Hammitt is much easier.
So grandfather is in like literal, like just one before, not like great grandfather?
It probably was my great-grandfather.
Hammitt?
Actually.
Hammitt, like, do you want a ham sandwich?
Hammitt.
Oh, Hammitt.
Yeah, like what kind of Hammitt? That's what they tell me anyways. You know, you only go with what your ancestors tell you.
These guys, some people's
Your
kids,
parents.
I don't know.
That's what they passed out.
Matt.
Yeah, Hammitt though.
Hammitt. Matt, Hammitt
You got it.
is here with us. And thank you so much for being with us. We love that you're here.
Oh, yeah.
I think I really love...
I love being here.
I love your mirrored plant that I can see here.
Yeah.
That's real. Was that intentional?
Yeah.
Did you do this on purpose?
Well, I kind of feel like I was trying to match your vibe a little bit.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah, I've seen your clips, you know. I dragged this plant over from a different part of the room. I was like, and also I will say it would have just been a white wall without it too. So much better.
It looks so
Much
good.
better.
When I said, wow, that looks oddly close to what we got going on here. So
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks good.
Wouldn't it be kind of weird if we were like the plants and they were having a conversation and we were just sitting in the corner?
It
That'd
would
kinda
be weird. It would be. Matt, thank you for being on this show.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on here. We have a lot to talk about today. I know I only have
do.
like 30-ish minutes, but we got this. We got it covered. We're going to be just fine. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to grill you like crazy. But first, I'm going to say happy belated birthday. Your birthday was last month.
Thank you. Yeah.
October 19th.
It was.
So I
October
found this
19th.
out
Yeah.
when I was stalking you on the internet and I was looking at all these things and accolades that you have. And I want to say congratulations on all these amazing things. For those of you who don't know, Matt Hammitt is quite the American singer-songwriter. But not only do you have a wonderful voice, I truly believe it is like the hand of God and the Spirit of God is upon you when you sing, for real. I mean that. And I can say that.
Oh, thank you.
Because I've actually sung with you. I had to sing. I didn't have to. They didn't like, you better sing. I got to sing background vocals with you. For you.
Yes, you did.
Forever
And you were
ago.
great, by the way.
Thank you. And I got to sing on the song Lead Me, which is one of the #1 songs out there that a lot of people know you for. But you are, for those of you who don't know who Matt Hammitt is, he's an American singer-songwriter. You've toured internationally. And you've also had 14 top 5 songs. I just didn't know if you knew this about yourself, but you've also had quite the quite the run on Try. We've got Tears, which is the one that's played most on radio. We got Footprints and Lead Me, as we mentioned. But I didn't know that you were nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, Matt. I didn't know this.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is I didn't get to go to the Grammys either time. And so I kind of was a little bummed to miss out on that. Well, the first time, I want to say we were on Winter Jam tour, and the tour would not let us out of one show to go to the Grammys. And which I get it. We were on the bill.
Makes
we were part of the
sense.
show.
Makes sense.
I totally get it. I don't blame them. It still was hard. Second time, I actually was in the hospital with my son when he was going through his second heart surgery. So,
No way.
missed it again. Yeah, so nominated twice, never got to attend. So maybe one of these days I'll just have to crash the party and go buy some tickets and watch.
Done. Well, I saw that and I was like, that's really awesome. You've also won 3 Dove Awards, in case those of you who are watching did not know this about Matt. Am I wrong on that? Did I misquote?
No, that's right.
Okay, I always want to fact check. I always want to fact check on that.
Yeah.
And then you were part of the band Sanctus Real, and you've also now you've kind of broken off and done your own thing now, and you're an artist doing your own thing, right? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really an interesting season for me because it's like people ask what I do, and it's hard to say what I do because I do a lot of different things. I write music for other artists. I'm still releasing music on my own. I also build creative projects for other organizations. You know, I've produced some music and even a kids album last year for an organization.
Nice.
Wrote it, produced it. And then this year, one of the things I did was a program called Dare to be a Dad for an organization called Save the Storks. You know, we did a national fatherhood program, and I wrote a short book for them and did a video series. And then the biggest thing for me is just speaking. I'm out speaking all the time at different events, conferences, and sometimes fundraising events for ministries and nonprofits. And right now, I'm actually out on the road. World Vision asked me to come out with Matthew West and talk about their work. So I'm out on the road with Matthew West for a few days right now.
I love that. So you're a busy guy. And that's kind of
A little bit.
I mean, that's kind of what I was telling a few people who, when I was like, when I first heard that you were at the place that I was working at, you would come and you were doing some stuff, and I was like, wait, who's Matt Hammitt? Wait, hold on a second. Like, how do I know this name? I look you up, and I'm like, this is why I know this name. You really are this voice that has been out there and in the world in such a positive and most amazing way. Not just positivity, but like you're making a huge difference. And
oh wow, thank you.
And I was really surprised. I was like, wait, this is Matt Hammitt? Hold on a second, because you know how sometimes you don't put a face with the songs or
Totally,
who's
yeah.
who. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this guy. And so you are known for your music, you're known for your songwriting, you're known for your beautiful voice, but you're also known for quite a few things that you're doing. Now, you just wrote a book, and I kind of want to talk about that mostly today. I wanted to have that
Sure,
book
it's
read
great.
by today, but I didn't finish it yet.
It's all right. I
But I
understand.
will.
Trust me when I say I understand.
I will have it read. But in your book, it's titled Lead Me. And it's one of two of the books that you've written.
Yeah.
So you also wrote a children's book, is that right?
Yeah,
I
I've got
I
a kids
couldn't
book out
love
that I
you
did with Jason
more.
Ingram. Yeah.
Yes, with Jason Ingram.
Yes.
I couldn't love you more.
Yeah.
And just quickly, give us kind of just a backstory of the children's book first, and then we'll get into Lead Me.
Yeah, so in 2010, when my son Bowen was going through his heart surgery, actually, it was leading up to it, really. So from diagnosis in April of 2010 until he was born in September, there were a couple things creatively that I did, writing-wise, and I actually produced an album, or wrote and did an album called Every Falling Tear. And that whole album was the process of us walking through just not knowing what was going to happen. And one of the songs that Jason and I wrote together was just a simple lullaby called I Couldn't Love You More. I ended up connecting with somebody from Tyndale Kids, and I was like, I think this could also be a really great book. And they put us with this amazing artist from Eastern Europe, and the book just turned out absolutely beautiful. It's been a really good thing for us and for Tyndale as well.
Yeah, I think I was walking in Target, and I think I saw it on like the shelf or something.
Yeah, I'll see it randomly in places like Target still. I mean, it's been over 10 years.
Yeah,
since it
and
came out.
I was like, wait, that says Matt. Wait, that says Matt. That's Matt. That's actually Matt. Like, that's his book. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's always fun to see it out in the wild.
I love it. And I've seen it been given to at many a baby shower as well. People love to give those books.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So just so you know, it's out there. It's traveling like crazy. So then now you have this song Lead Me that you wrote a while back. And now it's you tell us kind of what the song is about, and then also sort of how that led you into now writing a book. I assume they're connected. They do have the same title, but tell us how they're connected and what your goal was in writing the book with this song.
Yeah, well, I love writing music, but I also love to unpack the things that we write in songs. One of the hardest things for me is, as a writer, I have to take all of my thoughts, right, and whittle them down into 4-minute songs.
Yeah.
And I really had always wanted the opportunity to unpack a little more some of the stories behind my songs, and Lead Me obviously being such a huge part of my life, and also being the most well-known song for Sanctus Real for so many years, was a story that I really felt I needed to tell, partly too because so many people were coming up to me and saying, hey, what's going on with this song? Where'd it come from? And so for me to be able to kind of unpack the journey to that song, and that kind of being a point in my life that changed so much, not just, it's interesting because it's literal in the sense that that song came out and changed our lives because of the success of that song. But it was also like a pivotal point for me in my journey of learning how to be a better husband and a better father. And so I kind of take people on that journey to the song, and the irony of the song, which really part of that pivot for me was thinking, I wrote this song about being a better, more present husband and father. And now we've hit this place where I think I understand this better. But the success of the song about being a more present husband and father took me away from home even more.
Yeah.
So I kind of was living this great irony of having to still learn the lesson, and that's the truth about all of us in our art and our writing, is that so much of it is the process for us putting it out there in the world. And this is actually also still resonating in our own souls, and we're still figuring out the process as we sing or speak about it.
Yeah.
And, but on the back end of kind of seeing that journey and that ride, as I ended up leaving the band 6 years after that song came out, I could kind of look back and reflect on where it had taken me and the bigger story, not just in my own life and what God was doing, but how it related to others. And so that really is kind of the voice behind Lead Me. It's part memoir, and part, I wouldn't say teaching, but hopefully encouragement, a form of teaching, right? As encouragement to others who are trying to figure the same thing out as I did and am still figuring out. What is that balance between work dreams and family dreams?
Yeah, in that, when you were did you find yourself sort of conflicted when you were leading that song? What was the kind of the conflict going through your head? Obviously, you, like you said, I was needing to be more present at home, but what I want to kind of get like a little bit even into that next layer, peel back that next layer, because like we're talking to people on this show who just sort of just need to hear it just straight up, kind of like as plain as day, and who want to have these moments, right? So let me see if I can clarify this. You're sitting on stage, or you're sitting backstage, you're waiting to go on stage, something like that's happening, or you're at the store, you're at the convenience store, and you're grabbing your favorite candy. Is that when something hits you and you're just like, I wonder what my wife is doing today? I wonder how my kids are doing. You get back in the car, you go take a bathroom break, you're kind of in throughout the day. These thoughts, are they sort of coming in and out of your head? Are they crossing over to the point where it was so much that it just like kind of overtook you, where it was in everything that you did? Or was it just when you were singing that song? Like, I have to sing this song and I want to be forthright with this. I want to be honest. I want to tell the truth as I'm singing this song. I want to connect and speak into this and into these lives. But at what point did it kind of like overtake you? At what point did it does that make sense?
It was even really I think it was before even Lead Me came out. I was already struggling probably as early as 2007 or 2008. We had been a band for 10 years. We've been on the road for probably 7 or 8 of those years. And I was already feeling, I actually wrote a song called Whatever You're Doing, Something Heavenly. It was about the chaos of life, feeling God's peace. I wrote that song when I was on the verge of saying, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore, because I'd had my first daughter. My wife had come off the road. And she was home, I was on the road. So it was like, again, I was feeling that tension of band dream or, career dream versus family dream. And so I was already feeling that tension. Lead Me came out of a moment where everything kind of like broke, where it hit the fan for us. And it was kind of the come to Jesus conversation. And what I would say is those tensions were always very present in me. maybe that's partly because I'm just a deep feeler in general. So, as an artist, I'm always processing what I'm struggling with, and I'm trying to bring it to the surface to process, and then put that out through whatever the art is in the moment. But I think the big lesson in all of it for me, that when I wrote Lead Me, here was the thing that I realized as it was coming out and I was singing it, and I was still feeling these huge tensions of like, now I'm singing this song, but I'm still struggling to figure out what this balance is. The big thing that I learned was that my good intentions were absolutely worthless until they became actions. So it wasn't just all the little things of like the presence of mind or thought around what I wanted to do. It was what were the actual steps I was taking? How was I actually blowing up pieces of my life that needed to be blown up to like rebuild, something better with God's help? And I think so often we fall into just the pattern of life, day in, day out, just, we're creatures of habit, and we just go. And as we go on with what is next right in front of us that we either have set out to do or have to do because it's work or just responsibility, it's so easy just to follow that routine and then reset, follow that routine day in and day out.
Sure.
And it takes real guts to kind of blow it up sometimes and go, hey, this pattern isn't healthy for me. This pattern isn't healthy for my family. This pattern could actually change.
Yeah.
Like, how does it change? Does it change on its own? No, I've got to make some big changes in my life and step out with God's help to do that. And so I think for me, I just had to come to the realization, like, what am I actually going to do? Not just think about or dream about or wonder about or feel tension about. What am I actually going to do to make what needs to be priority in my life a real priority?
Right.
And for me, it came to that point of having to lay down what it was that I was doing for my band dream.
Yeah. So what was the thing that helped you just like shift? Like because that's a hard decision to make. And I see all the things that you are saying now of this is really something that I had to think about, and I pondered this, and it was weighing on my mind and weighing on my heart and my family. What was it that kind of pushed you over that hump to just really do it?
Well, I think it was the right timing. I don't want to act like I just was like, hey, this is what needs to happen, and I just did it.
And we're doing it.
Boom, it's like it was over the course of years, of me hearing that song being sung back to me and thinking, am I actually living this? Am I actually there? Am I actually present? Am I actually the man that I want to be at home first?
That's great.
And moving closer and closer to knowing. I always say there's a restlessness and there's a release, and they're both from God. And it moved from the restlessness, but still feeling God's hand on my shoulder saying, I'm not done with you here yet.
Wow.
To where I knew the release happened, where it was like, okay, I'm calling you out now. And so, but once that even happened, I had to come to grips with like, okay, is this me? Is this actually the Spirit? Like,
who's talking?
Is this just something funny I ate for lunch? Yeah. Like, but I realized like, no, it was the call. But I also had to set out a plan to be able to do that with as much integrity as I could, which meant giving, my brothers in the band and the people who'd invested in it for so many years, for 20 years, trying to honor them by giving them the time and the space and the energy that I had to give, even though I was tired, to say, hey, we're going to give this a whole nother year just to phase out properly and honor everybody and do it the best we can.
Yeah.
And so that, because a lot of times you just want to pull the plug. Actually, David Smallbone, his kids are in for King Country, right? And he, Rebecca St. James was his daughter. And, Rebecca would tell the story of, when she got burnt out, she just kind of like said, I'm done. And David said he wished that they could go back and like have said, okay, I know we're burnt out, but let's make a plan to exit, like in the right way. And she was young, man. So that's really hard. I was a lot older than she was at the time when she left, but David sat down with me and helped me figure that out a little bit of what his regrets were. Yeah. And how I could honor people on my way out. So he was a mentor to me in that season.
Yeah, I really like that. And that's that, thank you, because if that's you listening today and you're thinking to yourself, how do I transition out of something that I've just poured my whole life into, or you feel that wrestle happening and you're believing that the Lord's really pulling you out of something into something new or different, and you're not sure how to do
Yeah.
that, just like Matt's talking about, that's where you listen, right? I mean, you want to be obedient, and you want to
Yeah.
be obedient, because now, Matt, looking at what God's done with what you were obedient, and it's navigating. It's funny, you navigate through it, and whatever
Yeah.
season of life that people are in, like you said, your age matters, the timing of your life matters, who's in your life, who's not in your life, people who are going through so many different things, health-wise, relationship-wise, those kinds of things. Everybody's got to navigate through life a little bit differently, and that's where God is so great at meeting us where we're at. And with you,
Yeah.
as you did this, you were obedient. Look at what God's brought. I mean, look at how God brought this. So now you go into writing this book on Lead Me, and you start to unpack and peel back those layers, which is beautiful, because now this helps people to kind of see how you did it. Not that they have to do it the same way, but they can take these principles out of this book, and they can say, hey, what is God doing in my life, and how am I moving when he says to move, or to stop doing something when he says to stop doing something? There's a lot of people overwhelmed right now with this specific topic in regards to their career and their family. Or, I've got to
Yeah.
work because I've got to do this, and I've got to bring home this to make sure I'm doing this for you.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that phrase a lot. I'm doing this for you. And so then it sort of sometimes makes the people on the other side feel as if, well, I can't say anything, or I can't bring up my concerns, or I can't really have any problem with this because this is a provision kind of thing, or this is, and so they're afraid to talk. So they're afraid to bring up their concerns. What would you say to those people who are in that place of working things out in regards to career versus family life, how to merge them or not to merge them, how to sort of walk through this life in prayer and with the Lord when they feel like they're just stuck and they don't know where to start? Where would you encourage them to start?
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of courage that you might not even feel to do it. I mean, that's the thing. We all want to feel courage to do what's right or what we're called to do. But like, being courageous is different than feeling courageous.
Yeah.
And I think it's like making that decision, like, can I be courageous enough to actually take the steps that I know I'm called to do? And they might be little for some people. It might just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to set a boundary, and I'm going to block off. I'm going to take this one thing off my plate, and I'm going to create more space for my family, or more space for something else that I know I'm meant to pursue, that God is calling me to. And it might be hard to say no to this thing, but that's what I've got to remove from my life. Mm-hmm. And so it might just be one little step at a time like that, or like you were saying, stuff for some people, they're just stuck in even a career or a job or a workplace or in a relationship or something where they're like, okay, like I know like this isn't where God has me and I've got to move, but it's so hard to let go and be courageous. And so to those people, I think part of I think it's important to maybe even say, like, when I left the band, like, I didn't feel courageous at all, man.
Yeah.
I was scared out of my mind. I had no idea where my income was going to come from. I thought, okay, well, I can, and I ended up actually getting an RV and traveling around with my family and just going to churches and leading worship and,
Which is
singing
where
some
I met
songs.
you.
And yeah, exactly. And God's brought, he's taken care of us every step of the way, beyond what I even thought he would. And I never could have imagined that. But in that obedience of knowing that I was meant to take that step and let go of something that was so hard to let go of, I've seen the blessing and I can look back. So I think all I really have is my story and my testimony to say, maybe it was courage, but it didn't feel like courage. It just felt like obedience.
Right.
And it was really hard. I knew it was stirring in me. When it's stirring in you, you can't deny it. you can't shake it. People like even now listening to this, there are people who are like that thing in their life that they're meant to like get out of their life or change. It's burning at them right
like,
now. They know exactly what it is. Even if they're telling themselves like, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. I don't got to do that. It's like you can talk it away all you want, but and you have to just at some point face it and go, what am I actually going to do? Am I going to be obedient or not? And I can just give you my story to say that when I chose to do what I was called to do, to be obedient, I look back now and I'm like, the blessing that comes with that is unparalleled.
Yeah.
The family blessing of like the time I have with my kids now, the time I've had with my wife. And I'll be honest, I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of line here. I hope I'm not. But from my point of view, it seems like as Sanctus Real went on, they restructured things that I think probably were healthier for their families too. And God made 2 ministries out of one. They were able to keep going with their new singer and still do what they love to do. And I was able to go out and make a difference too in the way that I'm making a difference now.
Yes.
And so, God had it all. And here's the other thing too. One last thing I always tell people is because I was like the singer in the face of the band, right? And the primary songwriter, I thought, oh, what are the guys going to do if I leave? And it was funny because I felt God speak to me at one point and just say to me, like, do you think I love you more than I love them?
That's great.
Like, you think I'm going to take care of you, but you don't think I'm going to take care of them if I'm calling you out, And I had to realize that, like, yeah, like they're God's beloved children just as much as me. And I think there might be somebody who needs to hear that. Like, you're so afraid maybe to leave something because you feel the weight of your responsibility there, but God's bigger than you and he loves everyone else in the picture just as much. He'll hold them. You don't have to.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
No, that's really, really good. I mean, you're talking into the truth of the matter, which is the heart of the issue. And a lot of it is just obedience. I'm afraid to do this because I can't see what's on the other end. And I'm just too scared to let my hands off this because I think that I'm really in control of all these things. And it is interesting to see how sometimes God will remove certain things out of our lives when we choose not to let go of them people say God's a gentleman. I like that phrase in a sense because he really is so kind. He is merciful.
Yeah.
He's more than a gentleman, but he is merciful and kind and so gracious, and he meets us where we're at. He's so sovereign over all things, and it's amazing to see how good he is while we are just, I'm not letting go. I'm holding on to this and you're not taking this from me,
Yeah.
But yet he
Exactly.
just walks us through. So, in your endeavors and in your journey through all of these different things, there's a something that I believe you're really impacting a lot of the men out there. It was, Save the Storks. Am I correct on this?
Yeah,
That's right. Save the Storks.
Yeah.
This is, I looked it up last night, and what's really cool is there's a statistic that comes. I used to work in jails and prisons and things like this, and dealing with different people and mentorships and all those things. So what you're talking about now, from my perspective, is I'm talking to these people who are saying, my parent or my brother or sister or so-and-so in my life who meant so much to me decided to make a change, and that changed the trajectory of our entire life. That made such a difference in my life. I quit getting in trouble and I started doing things that I love. I started following my dreams that God had put inside of me because I believed that I could. There's different things that will be healed along the way as we are obedient just in our own walk with the Lord, like you're talking about. There's a statistic though about young men who don't grow up with fathers. It's young men who did not grow up with their fathers in the home are about twice as likely as those raised with their biological father in the household to have spent time in jail by around the age 30. Okay, so we're talking about, and I don't know if you cover any statistics in your books about being a father or about leading in that way, but in my experience of watching how many people end up either in jail or truly on drugs or on the streets or being abusive at home. They're not necessarily locked up for anything, but things are happening behind the scenes because they're not coping well with their life that they have to live with. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's burning. This thing's got to go. And so these are, guys, these are real issues. These are real life things. And so wherever you're at today, I encourage you, and Matt has been encouraging us, just to be obedient, to listen to God's calling, to listen to him when he tells you that it's time to let this go, it's time to give this up. And also to be very careful that you really are listening for the voice of God, that you're in the word, that you are in prayer. Because there's a lot of the times where we say, no, God sent this thing, and it's not of God. It's not at all.
Yeah.
But it's our pride, or it's our arrogance, or it's our loneliness, or it's what we think we need to fix what's going on. And in all reality, it's not his voice at all. And so stay the course in his word, stay the course in prayer, and continue to walk in truth. And when you have questions, ask and get the help that you need, and reach out for the help that you need. And yes, God is amazing, and he's provided people along the way to do this life with you as you are walking through whatever it is that you're walking through. I encourage you to read Lead Me. I'm excited to finish this book. I'm really excited, Matt. This is so cool because it's just encouraging, and I'll tell everyone I know to read it as well. And if you're interested in that, we're going to put these links below. But there's one thing I do want to say really quick, because we're running out of time, is you also have a documentary. I know this is so hard to like put down like into this much of a little tiny bit of a ball of what the documentary is about, but just about your son, and just your family is so amazing. And hi, Sarah, we love you like crazy. Your wife is so cute. I know I tell you
She's
this all the
amazing.
time,
She is.
but she's really, really cool. Okay, so anyway,
Yeah, she is.
tell us about this.
Way cooler than me.
Well, I mean, she's just really cool. I hate to compare, but I will say she was pretty awesome when I talked to her.
Fair. Yeah.
But tell us
She's
a little
awesome.
bit, give us a little bit about this documentary that people can watch as well, which is about kind of a separate matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. So our son Bowen had 2 open heart surgeries when he was in the first year of his life. And we had a gap between his first 2 surgeries and his third. As his third surgery was approaching, we had so many families that we were walking with going through the same thing. And they were asking us questions like, what is it like? How do we prepare for this? How does it affect your family and your marriage? And we just had these friends who were documentarians. They worked with NBC, and they were really talented. And we talked to them, and we were like, hey, what if we made a film to show families firsthand what it's like to walk through this, so that we can be an encouragement to them? And that was walking into his third surgery when he was about to turn 9 years old, and we had no idea what was going to happen. And so it was a really sweet but difficult project, but we felt like it was meant to be an encouragement to other families who go through difficult things, to see how God carried us through it, and to show how hard it is, and it's okay, and the pain, and it's okay to feel weak and cry and fall apart. I mean, we show all of it in there. So hopefully that encourages people. It's called Bowen's Heart, and it's available kind of wherever you buy or rent movies. So it's also for free on Tubi and the Roku channel and those different platforms as well. But yeah, so and then I wanted to say one other
Please
thing
do.
really
Go
quick,
ahead.
and I'll run out of time.
You're good.
But you mentioned Save the Storks.
Yes.
Which we've done a ton of work with them, even with Bowen, because we just love to celebrate life, even life that others would say is broken. And so one of the things that you mentioned was the fatherhood program with Save the Storks called Dare to Be a Dad. That was a program that I developed, for them. It's 7 sessions and a book, and then it's also 7 videos to go with it, and it's all free at the Save the Storks website. So those are 2 different resources, for families that feel they'd be encouraged by the documentary. They can find that really easy at bowensheart.com. And then the Dare to Be a Dad, if you just Google Dare to Be a Dad, Save the Storks, it'll come up, and that's all free too. If there are men out there who need encouragement, those videos will really, I think, speak deeply to any man.
That's awesome. And I will say this, I am not a man, and I was when I was on that website last night, I was like, man, this stuff is good. It's really it's legit. Like it's tangible. And I'm encouraged because I'm thinking to myself, yes, guys, go out there and do this because this is so cool. Like you absolutely can dare to be a dad. Like I dare you, go do this. Like it's so cool because it really does change the direction and the mood and the life that you're living right now. But the people around you are really reaping what you're going to be sowing. And there is some really beautiful, beautiful harvest to come when you do it that way. So I'm so thankful. And Matt, I will say you really are a very humble man. There's been a lot that you've done, and there's been a lot that you have been a part of. And I love that you just keep going. Like you just keep doing the next thing.
Thank you.
You just keep doing the next thing. And I know you've got your stuff because you're a person, and we can interview Sarah
Yes.
next. We can ask her what's really going on here. Just kidding. No.
Yeah, she'll tell you. She'll tell you. It's okay.
But it's neat
She's allowed.
to see how God is using you in such a beautiful way. But I just encourage you to continue in what you're doing because yes, your voice when you sing, it's a whole thing. It's like from the onset of your voice, and also you're very good coming from vocalist to vocalist. I will tell you this, like your pitch is so great because live, when you're singing live, it's like you're actually hearing you sing on your album. And I know there's things that you would fix, and because that's what we do, but it's so cool. Like you really work hard at what you do. You work hard and it's noticeable because it just comes out so clean and so awesome. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep up the good work. You're doing a wonderful thing in so many different areas with Save the Storks, with the Dare to Be a Dad. You're writing the curriculum for this. This is amazing. Writing Lead Me, which I encourage you guys to pick up for sure. And then also get this book for I Couldn't Love You More. For the children's book as well, and watch that documentary because that might do something really awesome for you guys in your home or in your family, whether you are married, single, or anything else. Like we just encourage you to take a look, grab this. You might know somebody who you think that's really going to minister to. It's going to touch their heart. I encourage you to go do that. Man, Matt, I could sit here and talk to you forever. You're so awesome. Thank you for being on this show today.
Oh, yeah. Sarah and I love spending time with you guys in Albuquerque.
Yes.
And we just, such good memories. So when you asked me to be on, it wasn't even a second thought. It's just, I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you.
So grateful. And thank you for all that encouragement.
Yes.
It's funny. I struggle to receive encouragement.
You're like,
I don't know, how do I act right now? What face do I make? I'm like,
I just said something.
I know. But I had a friend say something really interesting to me. He said, "Why do you struggle so much receiving a compliment?" I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Man, here's what I want you to do. I want when somebody compliments you." He's like, "I know you want to give it back to God, but he said, breathe it in. Just breathe it in, and then breathe it back out to God and give it to Him as a gift.
That's great.
As a sacrifice, because it's all His. And that really actually helped me. So now I'm learning, like somebody compliments me, to just breathe it in, take it in, and then just give it back to God and keep going.
I love
maybe
that.
somebody else out there needed to hear that too.
Yes, there's a lot of things you said today that a lot of other people need to hear. We hope that we have you back on the show in the future as well. So we may be knocking on your phone.
Awesome.
I was going to say knocking on your door, but
Hey.
Or if you're in Albuquerque, will you come be on the show? Just stop in.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
Then we can have you
Yes, of
in
course.
person, and you can have the real plant behind me. You could bring that plant
we
if you
go.
want to bring it with you. More than welcome.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Well, we hope the best for you, and we know you're doing great on the road, and we pray that you are safe and sound and that God continues to speak through you and do a mighty, mighty, seriously, like huge work through you as he's already done. So we love you, Matt. Thanks again. And
Hey, we love you too.
oh, thank you. And those of you listening, thank you for joining us today. You guys are awesome. If you have any questions, put your questions below. Don't forget to, like, share, and subscribe. It's not that hard. I went and I looked to see how hard it was to do all three. It's not that difficult. So we hope you do it. Hey guys, I'm Tamara, and you're listening to Quality Tam on today's show. We love you. We love you. We love you. Be blessed. If you or anyone you know would like to sponsor a show, visit QualityTam.com. Remember to like and subscribe and follow QualityTam on Facebook and Instagram.
Sure, bro. QualityTam.